Was Brandon Aiyuk snubbed from the Pro Bowl? Well, John Lynch seems to think so, and I know all the fans seem to think so as well because we've already done a video on it and we've already talked about this, and we've even gone through the stats and all the different types of things that Brandon Aiyuk has been able to do, and it really comes down to feeling like BA was snubbed due to lack of volume. And even with the lack of volume, he was still over to put over 1,300 receiving yards up through 16 games. It's pretty awesome, pretty special what BA was able to do. But it's not just us. It's not just the fan base. It's also the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers. And I find this conversation particularly interesting because BA will be in contract negotiations at the end of the year. I believe he's already been in contract negotiations or having conversations about it throughout the season, but he will be talking about it at the end of the year as well in hopes of getting extended by the San Francisco 49ers. So listen to general manager John Lynch talk about BA kind of with that perspective, because obviously we look around and we're like, man, we have so many good players. We understand what it is. We're not going to be able to keep everyone, but hopefully we can keep BA. Take a listen to what John Lynch had to say about Brandon Aiyuk getting snubbed, but also just the tone setter that BA is for this offense. Take a listen right here as John Lynch joined KNBR.
I wanted to ask you about one of those alternates, Brandon Aiyuk. And with him having a breakout career-type season, what were your thoughts on him not initially making the Pro Bowl roster?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm happy for all our guys that made the Pro Bowl. I don't want to sound like the old guy sitting back. It's not like it used to be, but the Pro Bowl is not what it used to be. We actually used to play a game, and we used to actually go play hard, especially when the money was on the line late, and you had to pay hotel bills over in Hawaii. So,
hotel bar bills.
I'll never forget one of the hardest hits I've ever. I think I had a lot of hard hits in the NFL. One of the hardest ones I ever put on it, and it was on Eddie George. Eddie still, when I run into him, he looks at me like I'm nuts because what I did to him in the Pro Bowl. But I was literally sent out there by Steve Young and a group of veterans like the old hats saying, hey, I brought my entire family. They were in the spa all week. You need to go get the ball back. And I sure enough, I went up and hit Eddie George. The ball came out, and I had kind of earned the respect of everybody in that room because I helped them out. But so I say that only to say I don't know if these guys take it as seriously as we used to. I think it used to be, and it still is a big deal, these accolades. Mm-hmm. But Brandon Aiyuk, whatever it is these days, I believe that he's earned it. What he's done, his yards per catch. I mean, we were at a point deep into the season, and someone told me, like, every catch but two of us have gone for a first down. He's number one in the league in yards per reception. But the thing I think takes him over the hump is the commitment he's made to run blocking and to do all the things he's doing in the pass game, the explosivity, 7 games over 100 yards, and then to couple that with the commitment he's made to being the best run blocking receiver in the league. And Kyle talks about that kind of dictates the tempo, the attitude of a team as much as anything, as much as Trent Williams coming up the ball. When your receivers buy into that, and it is contagious, we talk about that a lot. BA sold out, and man, this guy's a Pro Bowler in my mind. He's an All-Pro in my mind, and I'm so proud of him. And I felt sick for him that he didn't make it. I will say our fans were unbelievable. It wasn't for lack of trying. Our fans, the way they came out and supported our players was unbelievable. The faithful never cease to amaze me. But I did feel bad for BA, but I know that, like, through my own experience, sometimes it's just the way it goes. Like, you should have made it one year and then you make it the next year, and hopefully you keep going. And BA has that in him. I know that.
Yeah, he sent out an Instagram saying, I'm just, of the 9 Pro Bowlers, saying, I'm trying to be like you guys. And I mean, listen, maybe they got to be fueled up. Everything you said is on point about him.
As you guys know, I absolutely, probably one of my favorite aspects of Brandon Aiyuk's game is his blocking. We highlight it all the time, whether it's clips or whatever. Even when we had Brandon Aiyuk on the channel, that was the first thing we talked about for like the first 15 minutes was about blocking. So that's something that has stood out to me, obviously, and it's stood out to the people in the organization, including John Lynch, including Kyle Shanahan and his teammates. And again, sets the tone and really sets the standard. And I love what John Lynch says, that it's infectious. Like everyone starts to kind of like buy in to that. And I think it's great. I think it's phenomenal. And again, I agree with John Lynch. I think Brandon Aiyuk was snubbed. He was deserving of it. There were also other guys that were deserving of it as well. But I do think Brandon Aiyuk should have been it. And I agree. I think he should be an all-pro too. What BA has been able to do this year while missing essentially a game and a half as well throughout this season, I think has been remarkable. And again, think about all the weapons on this team, all the mouths to feed. Kittle, CMC, Debo, Ayuk, Jennings has been playing well in spots. So it's like there's a lot of mouths to feed. And we remember the tweet that BA made at the beginning of the year talking about he was the fourth option and he went for 1,000 yards last year. So we got back-to-back 1,000 yards receiving seasons for Brandon Aiyuk. But again, the point that I was making at the beginning of the video was BA is going to be in contract negotiations this year. Obviously, that's a conversation, an off-season conversation. So it's not like something that I want to spark up and really just start digging into right now. But I do listen to what John Lynch says kind of through that perspective. And I think back to how John Lynch has spoken about like Nick Bosa. Like he always talked about Nick Bosa. It's like, yeah, we're going to get him paid and get it done. Now I know the negotiations ended up being really challenging in the end, and we saw the holdout and we saw all that stuff, but they got it done. And we will likely have another kind of drag out kind of negotiation, maybe with with Brandon Aiyuk. We'll see. He is under contract next season, so he's under team control on the 5th-year option. So we will see how the 49ers manage this. Will he have to play on the 5th year? Will they try to extend him before that? I would believe that both sides want to come to an agreement prior to having him play as a 5th year on the 5th-year option and becoming a free agent at the end of the season. I don't think the 49ers would want to tag him. That's kind of frowned upon, I think, from like a player perspective. Like it's kind of like, come on, man, like don't franchise tag me, give me a contract extension or let me go. Like pick one or the other. So the point being is I love hearing John Lynch speak this highly about Brandon. I love that he's open, and I wouldn't expect him not to just because contract negotiations are coming up, but I like it. I like hearing it. It makes me feel better. Like as someone who doesn't want to lose Brandon Aiyuk on this roster, I love hearing the general manager like propping up his guy, talking about him, like how good he is, how much more credit he deserves, what he does like internally for this organization. These are all the reasons why we want BA to be a Niner for a long time. So again, I agree with everything John Lynch had to say. Again, I was just kind of looking at it through that lens. It's like, man, I really want BA to be here for a long time. What do you guys think? Do you want BA to be here for a long time? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You can check out the full interview of John Lynch in the link in the description. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.